necessary. Subject to the council's approval, this would give the authority, for Steve to approve those purchases. He still, I think the city staff, depending on what department, would still have to seek those telephone bids up to that certain amount, and anything above 10,000, or actually, above that would have to be written.
That's right.
Written bids, and we'll still have the same process.
Any idea how long the $2,500 has been in place?
We recodified that in 2000, the last codification, but it had been there for a long time.
Roughly 2003.
I was going to say it's over 10 years ago.
Yeah,
And Mike Grant will certainly appreciate that.
yeah.
Move to approve.
Second.
Roll call?
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Tim Poplin,
Yes.
Gary Houck,
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Our resolutions, current business number 4, consideration and possible action to approve the systems agreement with Tyler Technologies, Encode Division, for implementing and maintaining online payments for utility, water, billing, and municipal court. Annual costs to the city of this agreement are estimated at approximately $2,800 plus a one-time setup fee of $800. These are budgeted items for the current fiscal year.
So could you give us an idea of the benefits? I know you were waiting on that question.
Well, the main benefit, I really want to include this as part of Jay's compensation package. He has studied this from head to toe. He's done excellent work. But I think the primary benefit is to our customers. It's just the convenience of doing it. They're used to doing it now. Almost everyone allows customers to do online bill pay. And frankly, there are people that just don't really know how to write a check anymore. I mean, they do it so often, they've just forgotten, or they intend to use their debit card everywhere. So the online bill payment is a important tool for us going forward in customer service. And Jay, I'm sure you've got some things to add to that. But
Well, we had a couple of web-based services that are good as well, and this is a software-based service with Encode. And we looked mainly, what it came down to was a trusted source, which was Encode, security into our network, and then the fact that they have an integrated process whereby they can send us the information in a file. We don't have to re-enter it. So overall, and the costs were very similar between those two sources.
Will there be a cost savings for the city on this to offset the $2,800, or is it just?
I think the cost
convenience item?
savings in warrants issued and retrieved alone will probably more than exceed our $2,500 or $2,800. And most of these costs are passed on to the customer or the defendant. We do absorb part of it.
What percentage of people you think will use it, as far as if you look at the citizens at 100%?
I don't know. The debit and credit cards have surprised us. That started out a very low percentage, maybe 10. We're probably roughly 40% or more now are using that service. I think it's possible we could have a third or more.
People can pay their fines to the court?
Correct.
Move to approve.
Second. Roll call?
Dee Dee Patterson,
Yes.
Chris Anson,
Yes.
Bill Wantland,
Yes.
Tim Poplin.
Yes.
Gary Houck.
Yes.
Jeff Griffin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
That brings us to reports. City manager?
yeah, I would love for everyone to show an appreciation for Carol. Carol, do you mind standing? And if we could give her a round of applause. She's I would also invite you to come to the reception tomorrow at 2 o'clock. This will be Carol's last city council member as a staff member. She may be back just for entertainment purposes. But yeah, she's 16 years, right? 16 years of faithful service, yep.
Where's it gonna be, Steve?
At City Hall, back there in the auditorium, so. Feel free to come down and visit with her and send her off into retirement. Thank you again, Carol. It's been wonderful, thanks. I don't know if you've been paying attention lately, but the Seminole Chieftain girls basketball is among the best in the state. And I think a lot of that has to do with our fire chief and his family coaching those girls up. No, if you haven't had a chance to catch, that is real good stuff. You need to go catch a girls' basketball game. It is great. Very soon, like maybe Friday, if we can get a consensus, I would like to ask for the city council to call a special city council meeting for the purpose of receiving land that has been donated to you by the Seminole Public Schools. They acted last night to donate the Pleasant Grove School District land I don't remember where the location, what roads that are intersected. I just remember where the campus is. But they have voted and have asked for the city to take that, and we can get into a lot more discussion. Obviously, it wasn't on the agenda in time for us to really deal with it tonight, but I think it's a big deal. The real mission in that is that the Seminole Economic Development Council has shown a interest in that land. They want the land, and their primary mission in this is to make and I'm talking about Seminole Economic Development Council, their primary mission in taking the land would be for the purpose of making the people of Pleasant Grove happy. I think they've been displeased in the way that the land has been maintained to this point, and it's caused a lot of grief, and I think they feel like they've not received what they expected to receive, and so SEDC wants to take that on and make those folks happy out there. So in order to do that, and I think Mr. Carter might be able to explain that better than I, but my understanding is that the school board can only deed the land to the city council, and then the city council will then dispense whatever they want to do with the land. So,
Can we keep it?
yes, sir. Absolutely, you sure
Had
can.
to mow it then, wouldn't we?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, there's going to be some things coming with it in terms of legal issues and excuse me. Yeah, there's been a lawsuit filed on it already by the Pleasant Grove Trust, headed by Bill Shope, and so that'll have to be rectified eventually. But right now, I think the key element is that the school board doesn't want to have to deal with that with everything else that they're going through right now. They know that the city will stand in the gap and take care of that, as we do many things for them.
If
So-
you would like some more information regarding what transpired last night, you can go view that on YouTube. The school's meetings are on YouTube, held right here. So anyway,
Great point.
it was discussed in length last night.
That's all I have.
City Attorney?
Just want to echo what Steve said with regard to Carol Fryer. I don't think there's anyone, myself included, that doesn't know much more about these city ordinances and the history behind them than Carol. And I know that when I first took the oath as city attorney and Buster Wilcox was here, Carol kind of took me under her wing and helped me, and we worked side by side. I know many hours recodifying the ordinances, and it was just a long process. And I tell you, with her knowledge and expertise, I don't know how I would have made it. You know, it's just, she's just such a blessing to have. I hate to see her go, and I can tell you that I don't think there's any harder staff position than the community services department. I think Sharon will agree with me. It's hard to say no to people. It's hard to make staff recommendations that's not very favorable sometimes, and it's a tough job, and I think she's done a great job doing that over the years, and thank you, Carol, very much. That's all.
Remarks, inquiries of council members. Ward 1, Susan Hammond. Susan is not here tonight. She had what we hope is the last of her oral surgery today, and so she's recuperating. Keep her in your thoughts and prayers. And the only thing I would say is to add to what has already been said about Carol, except to say, Carol, you still don't have our permission to leave. What makes you think this is a position you can get out of? We will miss you greatly. Ward 2, Gary Houck.
I'd like to thank Carol, too. Many times she's helped me out, and all the staff. I mean, staff and the citizens, thank you very much.
Ward 3, Jeff Griffith.
As well, I got to stop by and visit with Carol just the other day, so it's been a pleasure, and thank you again for serving.
Tim Poplin.
Can we get you part-time? Every time I've been down there, you've gone beyond the call of duty, but I know Seminole's going to miss you, and I thank you for everything, city.
Ward 4, Chris Hansen.
I want to thank Carol too, and I also want to wish her a happy retirement. Also, I do have one thing that has kind of surfaced. I've seen some people questioning it regarding the school, possibly being located at Harvey Road pending the election. But there have been concerns about the Harvey Road and Strother intersection. I know we've looked at that before, but now seems to be resurfacing as as one of the fears that people have with the school being moved out there. And I was just wondering if maybe you could refresh our minds with what we need to do out there to get that done.
Yes. Actually, we kind of anticipated a little bit of this. Paul Rachel, our district supervisor for ODOT, will be in town next week. We'll get to get some more detail on what we're needing for the new school. But in essence, if I understand what has been said so far, they're more than willing to allow us to govern what goes on within our city. What they have issues with is when we ask them to match our expenditures or want them to fund a signalization at a intersection, they have to have documentation that is, in their terms, dangerous. That usually means multiple fatality wrecks, things like that. So before they come with much money, they're going to need a lot of documentation. So I think the answer to what you may be pointing to is I think it is doable. I do think that it's probably going to be on either our dime or someone else's dime. I'm trying to develop some solutions on how the city might be able to come up with some of the money, if not all of the money. One thing that's been brought to me recently, one of the things I do when we get into a deal when we're searching for money is we call our financial advisors who carry our bond capacity, and I ask if there are any ways for us to draw money out without raising our payments or the length. In other words, we're asking for interest rate savings. Can I refinance and draw my interest down and use that for money such as signalization in a new high school? Greg Nito indicated that there probably was. He was going to study that, send me some more information. So to answer your question, yes, I've started looking at that. I believe there are solutions, but I don't have them nailed down yet. Hopefully, before the election happens, we'll have answers for the people.
So could I ask you this question then, and you may not know the answer, but how far away from the school can you start the school zone? Is there a law on how far out that could be? That certainly, you know, if you see flashing lights, that starts your slowdown at some point, but.
Mike would probably know that off the top of his head. I do not. So I don't know. I'm sure that it has more to do with how fast you're going on the entry into the school zone. I'm assuming if it was 55 mile an hour, you could have it, 600 or 1,000 feet away from the campus. That being, what is it, Shane, 50, 40, 50? 50 mile an hour, I'm assuming it's probably in that same neighborhood, probably 1,000 feet of school zone.
Do we set that speed limit out there, or does ODOT set the speed limit on that road?
We do. We set the speed limit.
So we could also take a look at maybe lowering the speed limit in the area of the school altogether,
Potentially.
even approaching the school zone.
Yes.
Did he?
Do you have any plan on if we do put the school out there, when we put the school out there? I mean, we'll have a school zone, obviously. We'll have adequate policing, I'm assuming. Get people trained on the fact that that is a school zone. Okay.
Thank you.
Did he?
Well, I'd like to say, Carol, we've been together a long time, haven't we? Sure hate to see you leave. We set up here and make the rules, but you had to enforce them, and you did a wonderful job. We're going to miss you. Also, I, for one, am in favor of seeing our city grow and progress. I know my fellow councilmen feel the same way. The new school is a step in that direction, in my opinion. It's an opportunity for us to have a new school and not have an increase on anyone as far as cost, if it's passed the way that it's set up. I would certainly encourage us to consider a resolution and signed by all the council that agree to see if we can't get this thing passed. I'm very much for it. That's all I have.
Anything else for the good of the order? If not, motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed can stay.